بلساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد الحمد لله رب العالمين. All the praises, all the admirations are for that who is power of the powers, who is King of the kings, who is super sovereign to the sovereign, the Almighty, the greatest Allah. Very warm welcome to all of my lovers, followers, subscribers, friends, everyone. Most of the times, whenever I start my speech, I really am grateful to every who has been with me. This is one of my good fortunes that they have been standing with me for a long time. And also, there are some new entries which time to time they are entering in the blog. I don't have the words to praise the Almighty. Really, we as human beings, I consider it is very difficult for us that we should pay our tribute and what the God deserves, its greatnesses, because of its greatnesses, we should be able to fulfill. I consider myself, obviously, is not possible for all of us. But we can try. There is no suspicion. Almighty doesn't need any of our admiration. Millions of angels that Almighty has created just for admiration and who are banding all the time, not losing even a single moment to praise that Almighty and to worship. It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. We as human beings, unfortunately, definitely cannot fulfill, and we are not filling that admiration gaps. And it's not the drawback of any but our own. That Almighty who created the many of creations. History books telling some, in thousands of the creations have been created by Almighty. So that power, really that power, we cannot imagine it about. But we are not even considering that we are the greatest creation of Almighty, the superior one, the superior one. Please, whosoever is coming in transmission must be writing one's names so that I could read out properly. So can we fulfill? We have been created the superior one, superior creation of Almighty. So this is the nature. Obviously, natures are different for creations and between the creator and the creations. But definitely, creator wants, must be admired, praised. So, if anyone is creating multi-thing and just going to announce that, okay, one of the creation is the super one, is the greater one, so it's in the nature must be return, there should be return as well. It's a natural. So we have to think, are we doing that? Are we fulfilling that requirement? Natural, I'm talking about the nature. Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. Why? Really, I am not just pointing it out for nothing. There is a background, a strong background. I don't consider at least myself worthy to admire that superpower. I don't have the words. I cannot. But as well as it comes liability to me that I should worship, I should admire, I should praise for that creator who created at least I don't know how many creations. This much superpower, today what happens? Who just becomes the source, because we believe nobody can do anything till the permission from the God is being bestowed. You can't do nothing. So have you ever imagined it? This much superpower needs which level of admiration and praising? And are we fulfilling that? Obviously not at all, and we cannot. And it is not the thing that we haven't been bestowed this power to admire or praise to that super sovereign, because we are the best creations of that creator. We are the super creations of that creator. We have been given brain, we have been given heart, we have been given imagination, we have been given feelings, we have been given sensitivities. So I don't consider after that we won't be able to do it. Sorry to say. But one of the fact, but the point is that we have deviated ourselves to somewhere else. We are going to another direction. It might be possible that if I am unable to admire that super sovereign, it might be my mistake. It's not the mistake of Creator that who hasn't bestowed me this power to admire that super sovereign, super power, the power of powers, the King of kings, the Lord of lords. We have to think about it. Definitely, it's not my topic on which I am saying, but I consider myself to provoke, to point out these things, because I tell you that life is very short. It's not a kidding point, it's not a non-serious point, it is not unexpected thing, but the thing is, while we survive, while we are in this mortal world, we just consider, we believe, we know that we have to die, but innerly, but from the core of the heart, we are not believing that we have to move from this world. We just be considering that we have to be here forever, till doomsday. Sad, no? It won't be happening. It won't be happening. We have to go. And that's why, while you are spanning your life, it might be possible that things taking time, time taking time. You might be feeling that time is very slow. But while you spend, then you just come to know, oh, time's gone. Where it's gone? Nobody knows. But that has gone. We have to keep this thing in our mind that the time never remains same and never stops. So if we have been deviated, if we have deviated ourselves, if that happens because of ourselves, so we have to be on the way. We have to be going towards the way of Almighty. We have to be going towards the way of God, which is the real and only way for the survival, even for this mortal world, as well as of that world which will start after doomsday. So, I just want, also, right from the beginning of my videos, if you people are watching, you will come to know. Since the beginning of my channel, I've been pursuing this thing, this point of view. We have to go towards Almighty, so we have to have good relationship with Almighty. That is the need as well. It's not your blessing if you people are going towards that side. I really tell you, it is one of the facts. This is my need, this is your need. Because we are creations of that Creator. So just tell me that the logic is there, that relationship between Creator and the creation, can it be broken out? Can you break this connection? So if just consider that if you are having electricity through some wires, if the wire is disconnected, if the wire is broken out, so definitely you won't be able to get electricity. It's very obvious. It's very simple. It's very natural. So the same thing, we are the creations of that Creator who is called Almighty, who is called Allah, who is called God. Do you consider that if we people are going to break up this link, if we people are going to break up this affiliation, if we people are going to break this connection, will we be able to survive? Will it be possible? Never. Never. We have to think about it. So guys, Almighty is the power, none else, none else, none else. During last few days, you might have watched my video on on my Insta page. You must visit, I also request with the name of Asrar Khokhar, you must visit me on my Instagram page as well, where I quoted Hazrat Ali, who said, I just want to repeat here, then definitely I will be coming on my topic. He said that I have seen many people in the graves, down to earth. Okay, they have been buried in the earth, in the soil. I've seen many people who have gone to grave, who were just thinking while the people were surviving, while they were enjoying in this life, and they were thinking that if we stand by the truth, if we stand by the right, so we will have to be facing death. Just they felt fear throughout their lives. But even then, today they are under the earth. So, means to say, okay, there is also one more angle derived from, but the major thing what I would tell you that we have to go under this soil, under this earth, where so many times on upside of this earth we people are doing many more wrong things, many more flaws, many more crimes, many more sins against the Almighty's order, including myself. I'm not saying that I am going to be a pious one and someone else are involved in it. No, very first of all, for myself that I admit and agree and believe that definitely I am firstly believing myself, admitting myself that I might be the one of that. So all of us, whether me, you, whosoever, we have to very first of all accept it that on the earth, which is not mine, which is not yours, which is not someone else, which is directly belonging to Almighty. Today, you know what happens? That even we are having some very tiny part of earth if we acquire. So we consider, okay, this is named to me. This is mine. This is my personal one. So this is my question, that if you people are thinking and saying that this is your personal, that this is yours one, because this has been named to you, while you are going down to it, putting into it, then will you be able to say that this belongs to me? 5 marlas, 10 marlas, 1 camel, or so on. This earth belongs to Almighty. We have to accept it. And on upside, while we people are surviving, we are doing many more wrong things and many more, disobediences we people are making in front of Almighty, which I consider is the biggest fault and flaw in us, that we are not believing the order of that one who created us. And many times I've spoken on it, that is there anything from where that one, the Allah, the Almighty, the God is preventing you? Tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. Is there anything? Is there any single point? No. Just Almighty gives you the way. If you want to do it, so you have to adopt this way. You have to do something like this. You have to go on this path. If your destination is that, anything could be your destination. So there are many ways which are leading towards that objective. So what way you have to adopt, that should be accepted by God. Simple. Nothing has been stopped in Islam. Keep it in your mind. Ways, everything for leading of those towards those of your objectives. You have many more ways that you have to adopt accordingly. The order of Islam, the order of Almighty, if you are going to adopt that, then you will be successful, and definitely you are not going to be disobedient to Almighty. So, all of us, I request, who are with me this time or who are going to watch me later, very first of all, we must be connected and contacted to the Almighty in its real way, because we are the creation of that Creator. So guys, today, most of the times I don't come live on Friday, but today is Friday, and now the date has been changed to October 2022. So why I have come live? You might have seen my thumbnail. I am politician, which I am running my program for a long time. Much more changes have occurred today, even, and from last few span of time, like from last 2-3 months. Biggest changes are going on in our politics, and our politicians. So here I want that we, like I was telling you before, that we must keep eye on our politicians, but now need to be focused more. Many changes are occurring. So what is going on? What is happening? Who is right? Who is wrong? who is going to what way, we have to be very vigilant, I tell you. Because unfortunately, I openly criticized many times on the politicians just on this point, for God's sake, that 75 years, I just raised one hue and cry. 75 years have been passed. Till today, we are unable to provide majority of the facilities, majority of the rights to the common people, to the mediocres, to the lower class people in particular. Why? What is the reason? While observing the condition of the globe of many countries, like they even got freedom even much more late than us, but they people have been flourished more, they people have got progress more. But what is happening with us, that even spanning 75 years, we haven't been able to have many of the basic rights, human rights even. Unfortunate condition is that we people are unable to get basic human rights. For what you not need to be Muslim, you not need to be, whatever the religion you belong to, whatever the ethnicity you belong to, whatever the complexion is yours, doesn't concern. It's not concerned at all. Just if you are a human being, if you are a human one, so that comes your right, and this has been bestowed by the Almighty, the greatest Allah, that must be provided to you, and that is basic responsibility of the government, and definitely government is formed by the politicians. So this comes the basic liability of the politicians to provide you, to give you the basic rights to the common one, to the everyone, whether they are elite, rich, mediocre, poor, whichever the classes they are. This comes liability of the government to give equal rights to everyone. Number one, human rights, very first of all. But we people are unable to. Today, eligibility of Mr. Imran Khan has been announced by the Election Commission, the biggest news of today. I really don't understand. And today, after this decision, what should I say to these politicians? From where should I stand? I don't understand. While I'm discussing with many of my friends, so they people are thinking that you are against of everyone. So I am saying to them that how could I be in favor of one person? Because every person is deviating. Every person is not standing on one foot. Everybody is not standing on one point or one point of view. So then how could I stand with one person? Like today, PTI people, they are on the roads, they are striking, they are burning tires, and they are protesting. And on the other hand, the PDM, different parties, that is alliance of Maulana Fazlur Rahman, PMLN, and People's Party, they people are saying, okay, this is the right decision made by the Election Commission. And if you remember, whenever those people were announced uneligible, so same thing was done by this present opposition, the PTI. So where should we go? What should we do? That whether we should be standing with the PTI, whether we should be standing with the other parties, all unfortunately, they people are having the same behaviors, which is unfortunate. This is 100% believable. But if this is happening with you, then this is illegal. This is unethical. Many more slogans could be raised out. And if the same thing is occurring with the opposition, with the opponent party, so then that comes true. Where should we go? Where should we go? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody guide me? So here, this comes very difficult to speak the truth. And that's why I quote Hazrat Ali, who are considering that if I am standing with the truth, so I might have to face death. Whether you stand with truth or not, you have to face death, which is one of the biggest facts. You will have to taste that death, which is not easy. Many people are considering, okay, if any cruelty or brutality is not occurring on any person, then what do you think? Death comes easy for you? No. Death in all the cases is very difficult to face. But definitely, people who have been with the right, who have been with the truth, who have been with those people who were speaking the truth. So it might be possible, not might be 100%. I'm sure they people are not going to face any sort of trouble while they people are going to face death. What should we do? Where should we go? Where we should complain? For God's sake, today in Punjab there is government of PTI. In federal there is government of PDM. And that is alliance of different parties. Now, this time almost all of your country is obviously striking from the lovers of Imran Khan, lovers of PTI. They are on the roads, this is a fact. Same thing occurred when Mr. Nawaz Sharif, he was facing the same situation. His people were on the roads. What will you do? You can do a lot. You can do a lot. People can do a lot. People have got right to do a lot. People will be and must be doing a lot. For God's sake. Waken up, waken up, waken up. And observe who is on right and who is on wrong. Just think yourself. Not to have belief on anyone. Not to listen anyone. Observe yourself that if the same thing is occurring with one person, so what the opinion that person is going to have, what the narrative is going to be uttered by that person. If the same thing is happening with the opponents, then what the people are going to do? What the people are going to have narrative? Then their narrative is going to be changed or not. I just want to know this thing, which is unfortunate we people are not following. We just, and many times I have uttered these words as well, that we just are inspired by the charismas. We are inspired by the personalities. We are inspired by the players. We are inspired by the popular people. We are inspired by the business tycoons. We are inspired by the social workers. It's not wrong to like such type of people, but very basic thing today I want to give you the point, and which is the major point I consider, and on that I want to conclude. Honesty. Any leader in your view is honest, so you have to keep an eye, observe, and then decide that, okay, this leader is going to be honest, just choose that. And nobody is this much illiterate, nobody is this much sluggish, nobody is this much unknown person who couldn't decide who is on the right and who is on the wrong. There were protests and sit-in of 126 days, if people must be remembering, from PTI before 7-8 years. After that, what happened? That next regime they attained, they got. So what they did in their tenure. And before that, opposition, the current government, the PMLN was in power. What they did. Before that, the People's Party was in power. Just observe what they did. Just should have the comparison. Because I tell you that if you are not going to have very deep thinking on politics, so the things are not going to be changed. I tell you, this is also one of the facts. That's why, I used to say, keep an eye on politicians. Here in the last, I just would request to all of the politicians that masses are observing you. People are watching you. People are looking at everything what you people are doing. whether from the opposition, whether from the government, whether from the all smaller or bigger parties, political parties, because we are part of democratic system. So here, every person is having right to speak up. So now the things are much more changed just because of social media activation. So now politicians would have to face many more troubles. Like nowadays, you must be listening many audio leaks. Now the things cannot be hidden. So for God's sake, I request to the politicians. Mean here, you know what happens that interior minister comes on television, he is speaking, he is saying something mean extraordinary and like in just mean the vagabonds are on the road. Okay, people, while you are dealing a million of people, so you have to be tolerant before. And what you people are doing, that how you people are behaving, being a part of government, what the behave you should have, aren't you aware? And similar condition, I used to be talking against of the PTI that they were doing the same thing when they people were in the power. Where I request to politicians, sir, where should we go? If you people are not going to be united, if you people are not going to be working for the betterment of the people, if you are not willing to have flourished Pakistan, so please tell me where the people, where the masses of Pakistan should go, whether they should leave the country, and unfortunately, majority of the people, they are willing to leave this country, which is the biggest unfortunate, but it is totally because of my politicians, sorry to say. So for God's sake, I request to the politicians, now be mature, be mature, be mature for the flourishment of the people, for the flourishment of the country, for the flourishment of Pakistan. I'll be with you, inshallah, and I will try to be live soon again. Thank you very much. Long live Pakistan.